Okay, please say your name.
Hello, my name is David Tan.
Okay, and where are you from, David?
I am from Memphis, Tennessee, originally. Grew up there and went to school there. I went to the University of Memphis. Graduated with a science degree. And from that point on, I didn't really know what direction I wanted to go because I was actually an ex-nursing school dropout. So therefore, I kind of didn't really have an idea of what profession I really want to do from that point on because it was kind of a depressing moment. But anyways, growing up, I've had the privilege of traveling all over the place. I've been to a lot of countries in Southeast Asia. My family, for instance, they're from Vietnam, and so I've been there quite a few times and been to Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, places like that. And my friends actually from back at home came to Korea and told me about all the teaching opportunities that he had. And so I've always thought, teaching was kind of a fun gig. And I thought, the easiest way to explore that is by coming to Korea. And so me and my friend, his name's Aaron, we both kind of did it together. At first we were kind of skeptical because traveling together and working together was very difficult. But we worked it out with a good recruiting company. So for the most part, the recruiting process was pretty smooth, a smooth transition for the both of us. So we actually got hired same day, same spot, so everything was smooth sailing from that point on. And getting here was fairly easy. We try to prepare as much as we can with the little Korean that we knew. But I've been here for a year and a half now, and I've been teaching at CDI, Cheongdam Institute, and they've been treating me fairly well. No complaints there. As far as Korean life goes, for the most part, if you're that type of person that likes to explore and try different things, get to know different cultures and food and the people, then Korea is definitely a place to maybe even start that. I know there's many places that you can teach, but Korea definitely is one of those countries where would be a good starting point, I would say. Just because there's a lot of perks, such as pay is fairly decent in comparison to the other countries that I've researched about. The people are generally nice. Anywhere you go, you have the good and the bad. But for the most part, from my experience, it has been a good one. I'm learning Korean as well. It's not a very difficult language to learn. Reading is very easy. I've heard that it's actually easier than English, the English alphabet. So
I would agree.
Yeah. So in those terms, I think learning Korean is fairly simple if you really put the time and work into it. The food's great. In Daejeon, which is, I don't know, what is it, the 5th largest city? I don't know.
Yeah, 4th or 5th.
Okay. The food here is fairly, I don't know, typical with everywhere you go. It's pretty much the same thing. But if you're that type of person that likes to party, I think Seoul would be a better fit for you, just because it's very, very culturally diverse there, I would say, in comparison to Daejeon.
A lot more.
But I'm more of a, I grew up in a small town outside of Memphis, so I'm more used to that. So I find Daejeon was more of a fit for me. So if you like to party, if you like to meet all kinds of people from everywhere, I think Seoul would be a best fit for you. But if you are more of a person that wants to save money and just find a very relaxing place, but not too small, not too big, I think a city like Daejeon would really suit you well. I don't know, are there any other questions?
Well, yeah, so you touched on a little bit. Are there any specific good aspects you found about living in Korea? What do you love about living here?
Well, for one, I have some things that I wanted to get done, like, for example, I just want to touch upon the healthcare system.
Oh, yeah.
The healthcare system here is really great. You guys probably heard of all the bad stories about Americans and their healthcare system, and the problems with with them reforming the healthcare system. But here, the system's very, systematical. It's great. I don't think it matters where you work for the most part.
Everyone's going to give you full
the insurance
coverage.
is very very high quality, and it's all about service here. From back at home, service is a hit or miss. But here, generally the service anywhere you go, it doesn't matter if you're going to a restaurant, going to the doctor, or even buying something off the street, service is everything. So
yeah, and they refuse tips in this country.
Yeah,
it's
so
impolite to tip.
Yeah, so tipping is definitely not something that they do here. So yeah, you don't have to worry about that. So I guess you can, in a sense, save a lot of money. Living in Daejeon, it's very easy to get around. For example, taxis are fairly cheap. Like, I guess getting from one side to the other side of the city, maybe it's going to cost you $7, $8 tops.
Yep.
And of course, you don't have to tip the driver, right? But for example, I went to the acupuncture the other day. Cost me what, $6?
Yep.
And you go in, you get the whole treatment. You get a massage. You get.
Was it covered by your insurance?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
I love it.
So healthcare is really great as far as I'm concerned.
Have you had any difficulties being a Vietnamese American man in Korea?
I would say for the most part, a lot of just if you're Asian, let's put it that way, and you want to travel to Korea and you're not of Korean heritage, people do have that mistake of thinking that you are, and when they try to come up to you and speak to you, and if like me, you don't know as much Korean as you should by now, it can be very awkward, and they really think that you're kind of an idiot because you look Korean, and so when you don't respond to them well, they might give you a look, but I've been used to that, so within time you kind of just brush it off and just walk away.
What do you miss from home?
What do I miss from home? Well, I guess all the obvious things would be friends and family, of course.
Yeah.
But I think that if your friends or family ever get the opportunity to come visit you, it'll be fairly simple because around here there's always a lot of places they can stay. If you don't have a lot of room in your place,
usually you won't.
Yeah, usually you won't. There's a lot of cheap places they can stay for fairly cheap. So I don't think finding housing for your family would be a difficult option.
And have you had friends and family visit you here?
I have.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and
me too.
We traveled all over Korea. The transportation system here is phenomenal. You can just hop on the train, and especially living in our area, we're in the middle part of Korea, so traveling everywhere is very, very quick and easy. But yeah, there's a lot of things to explore here in Korea, so there will definitely not be any shortages of things to do if your friends and family want to come visit. And people are very nice here, so if you ever have trouble with anything, I think the good thing about Facebook is the social networking, depending on what city you live in, I think they have kind of like their own group.
Yep.
Right? And, very foreigner friendly here. So I think if you ever get lost or if you need some help, you can just type a question and usually you get, a quick response within a couple minutes. So, if you're skeptical, I hope Corey here will tell you that, it's really not that big of a deal if you heard some bad stories. Because, with the bad stories, you always have the good stories, right? So it just depends on who you listen to and what you believe in.
And usually the bad stories are the ones that get on the internet.
Right, exactly.
The people with the good stories are too busy having fun to write them down.
Right, so, if you're ready to just kind of look for something new before you choose your profession back at home and just want to travel for a while, I think, Korea has more advantages than the disadvantages, for sure.
Okay.
It's been treating me quite well, so that's why I thought I was going to be here for a year, and now I'm on my second contract. So if you're one of those people that says, I'm just going to be here for a year, you might rethink that after living here. That's for sure.
And yeah, and if you just put in 1 year, that's totally fine too.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfectly normal. What would you say are some personality traits that a good teacher should have over here?
Well, there's some people that I've met. They come over here for the wrong reasons. Just remember that you're here to get experience, but at the same time, you're here to do a job. And that's very important, especially in terms of a Hagwon or even a public school. You can't just think that this is just a part-time gig. You have to really be focused because they do, I guess, with the CCTV, I guess that's something I could touch up on. There's CCTVs everywhere, so you really got to watch what you do and watch what you say, because there's always somebody watching you.
But is it like a police state? Are you concerned?
But it's no. You have to be concerned. It's really just for safety purposes.
Yeah.
It's not like people are watching you, trying to find your first mistake and try to kick you out of the country. It's not like that at all. For the most part, a good trait to have is just be consistent. You got to be consistent as a teacher and really just as a person in general. Here, I know that the popular thing to do is to drink. I know Korea is known for
alcohol culture.
Alcohol culture. So I know that if you do enjoy drinking, if you need to learn to control yourself, because they will weed you out of the school system if they find you here for the wrong reasons. Just always be prepared for anything, really. As a teacher, you always got to be prepared for class. So that's a good trait to have, is to be prepared. You got to be a little bit outgoing, don't be dull, throw your personality into the...
And one more question I have for you.
What's that?
Can you comment about dating in Korea and romance in Korean?
Well, that's funny, because I would be the perfect candidate for that.
Yes.
I have a Korean girlfriend. Some of the perks of that is, generally, for me, I find Korean women, they're great caretakers. I think it just comes with the culture here. I know the moms can be a little bit scary, because I've heard stories about the kids, how strict mom is, but at the end of the day, they're very, very good at taking care of things when it comes to kids, husbands, etc. Now, my girlfriend, her background is education, English education. So
yeah, she's perfect.
So she speaks, very fluently with English. But I have a lot of friends, foreigner friends, that they get caught up with dating a Korean girl, and they love it. I know some people that have gotten married, have kids already. I think one bad thing is that I guess Korean girls can be a little clingy at times, but it's just within your relationship, you just gotta have good conversation or good communication. So, and it also helps with your Korean as well.
Yeah, you gotta learn Korean.
I would have not learned as much Korean as I already do if I were not with my girlfriend. She's been teaching me new phrases every single day, so it's helped me with my communication here and there. So when you date a Korean girl, it's a lot different from your average American girl. You don't get to meet the parents. Okay, that's a big no-no. You only meet the parents when you're ready for marriage. But once again, it all depends. Luckily, my girlfriend, her parents are very open-minded. And I've actually met them. I've been on trips with them. I've been to their house, eaten dinners. I've done outings with them. So I was very fortunate in that regard. But from what I've heard, most of the time, parents are skeptical if you are dating a Korean girl. But it just takes time, It just takes time. If you're willing to make it work, you must learn Korean, because you have to be able to communicate with the parents, or else they're
never gonna accept you.
Yeah, pretty much not gonna accept you. So if you are willing to put in the time and the effort to make a relationship work, then you would do whatever you can to adapt to the cultural differences in terms of dating Korean women.
All right. All right. Thank you for all your responses, David. And if you would like to find a job in Asia, like David here, please send your resume to instructasia@gmail.com. Thank you. Bye-bye.